When students are learning the English language, they learn how to read, read out loud, write, and speak in the language. However, music students are usually only taught to read and read out loud with their instruments. Some are still taught composition or writing in the musical language, but few are taught improvisation, which would be like speaking with their instruments. My students are no exception. My students range in age from 4 years old through older adult, and range in level from very beginner to intermediate. Some of my students have just started violin and only had 1 or 2 lessons. Several of my students have been playing between 6 months and a year and a half. A few have been playing for several years. Some of my students have had some experience with improvisation, but none have had very much, some none at all. Each of my students have different backgrounds, experiences, and proficiencies with their instruments. This varied pre-knowledge of my students provides an interesting view to examining how students learn. The youngest students were the most adventurous in trying out improvisation. The older the student was, the less adventurous they were. Students with more experience on their instrument were also more reluctant to experiment. This is because they have been playing from sheet music for several years, but have never played without it. Imagine if you had always read what you wanted to say, but had never formulated the words on your own. Whereas students that had just started on their instruments did not have the years of non-improvising to discourage them. By teaching improvisation in a group setting, I was able to coax even the most reluctant students to try improvising. One-on-one, I can easily get new and young students improvising, but the older or more advanced players I cannot. In a group setting, students were able to provide support for each other and keep the sound going.